I am going to show you how you can clear the farm location on Last Day on Earth with only these items. And yes, you don't need a gun, all you need is 4 crowbars and 1 sledgehammer. But just to be clear, the only time you're going to use the sledgehammer is when sneaking up behind zombies. So here I am using the fence to wall trick the savage giant, and yes, I will be doing this to every single savage giant that we see. So if you find zombies standing away from each other, then that is the best time that you can use your sledgehammer. Just take your time and pick them off one by one so you don't have to take them all at once. And don't forget to loot the sacks so you can find the barn key. But if you can't find it in the first one, then you'll just have to keep looking. So you'll notice that each section of the barn has different types of enemies. And if you didn't know, each time that the farm location resets, the enemies would always be different. But that only applies to enemies that you find inside the fences. And unlike the zombies standing outside the fences, you don't have to worry about them changing because they would always stay the same. Like this savage giant. So as you can see, he is standing outside the fence. So the next time the farm location resets, he'll stay the same. And also, be wary of these haystacks, because sometimes they spawn these rotten yokels and they are really annoying to deal with. But all you have to do is leave the map and then come back. And you'll notice that once you come back, they are despawned, so you don't have to worry about them anymore. Also, see this raider here? Notice how they came out of nowhere. So if you didn't know, zombies or raiders will spawn after you kill a certain amount of zombies. But once you've dealt with that, just keep on clearing the zombies. So here, I looted one of the raiders and one of them had a machete. I don't know why he wasn't using it, but I have it now. Now the next thing we have to talk about are these infected wolves. They can run very fast and deal so much damage. But the worst part is that you have to deal with them all at once. So the best thing I can suggest to you guys is hit them while you are running away. This way, you can avoid getting hit by the savage giants. And you might have noticed the huge pile of dead bodies behind me. That's because this wall here is going to be your best friend when you're clearing the farm location. And here I finally found the barn key. We just have to clear a few more zombies before we open up the barn. Just use your crowbar for these guys, you don't need to use anything else. And the same goes for these savage giants. Here you'll find a door, but you need the lockpicking skill to open it up. But if you don't have that skill, just ignore the door. Then finally, we have the Ravager. Just ignore the dead body and let's focus on the Ravager. So what you need to do is you have to run away from him, like gain some distance between you and him, and he'll start chasing after you. And once he does, do a sidestep to avoid his acid and you start hitting him. So he doesn't deal too much damage, but his acid can break your armor. So do your best to dodge him and make sure you don't get hit by the acid. And once you dealt with him, you can loot his body, you can get a big bone which you can use for weapon mods and whatnot. And once you've dealt with everyone, you can just open up the barn and you can start looting. Here on the farm you can get chopper parts. If you need that, you can build your chopper with it. You could even ignore all the zombies if that's all you want. You can just look for the barn key and just loot the motorcycle. And without further ado, let's open up the barn chest. But if you didn't know, once you start opening up the blue chest, it is going to attract zombies. But since we killed all the other zombies, these are the only ones that we have to deal with now. So if you guys didn't know, these zombies actually came outside of the map, so you couldn't actually kill them. And once you've dealt with those guys, you are free to loot the chest, which contains a blueprint, weapon blueprint, and it's most likely going to be a melee weapon blueprint. So if you don't have any blueprints, you can just go to the farm and farm your blueprints. See that? Farm your blueprints? Yeah. And one more thing, like and subscribe.